What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you, as you can see before you, a Darklord deck. Now, I ran this Darklord deck over the weekend and went 4-1 with it, so it wasn't too bad. This was my first real outing, real physical test with it. It did okay. I think my only loss was to Metaphors, just because they just went off a hell of a lot quicker than I did. Now, Darklords can brick a little bit. But when they do get going, they've got quite a lot of draw targets and draw power to go through. When they do get going, they can be really strong. So without further ado, I'm going to crack straight into this. Now, there are some proxies in here and different colour sleeves, because different colour sleeves have literally just gone straight back into my Dark Magician deck, because that's the main deck that I focus on. And the proxies are because I borrowed some at the weekend and haven't had a chance to get them myself, mainly for this one. So we'll crack straight into that, zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit more. So straight up you play 3 Darklord Exexil. Now this is the hardest one to get, the most expensive one to get. Apparently it's a short print, I'm not 100% sure on that. But obviously I opened up 2 boxes and only pulled, didn't even pull 1 from it. So it's a harder one to get. I did borrow 2, but it is the most important Darklord card, to be totally honest, in this build, and probably in any Darklord build you do. So, for those of you who don't know what Exexil does, basically you can discard this card and 1 Darklord card, draw 2 cards. During either player's turn, you pay 1,000 life points, target 1 Darklord spell or trap card in your graveyard, apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. Pretty much all the Darklords have that, all the new Darklords have that effect anyway. And then you can only use each effect once per turn, and you can only special summon her once per turn. Now, the artwork, I will mention this now, the artwork on all the Darklord cards is exquisite. Like, it is so nice artwork. It's unreal. And I will also mention about the effect, the paying 1,000 life points to shuffle them back in. So obviously all the new Darklords have that ability. Now, the cards you shuffle back in, you're only activating their effect. So you don't have to pay the cost, and you don't have to, like the Darklord cards are only, it can only be activated once per turn. You're not activating the card, you're only activating the effect. So not the cost part of it, which is why it's just such a good effect on all Darklord cards. Next up is triple Darklord Superbia. Now the main combo you really do is you hope you open up with these 2 in hand, use her effect to dump Superbia, and then hopefully you've got one of the spells to bring Superbia back, and then you bring back Exexil as well. And then you can recycle if you have more in the grave as well. So when this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target 1 fairy type monster in your graveyard, accept itself, and special summon it. So this is why I have got Christia in this deck as well, so that's a way of getting Christia out a lot easier. I did have it at 2, I've messed around with it between 1 and 2, 1 worked okay, but you can easily put it up to 2. Next up is double Darklord Nasten. Now basically you discard 2 other Darklord cards, special summon this card from your hand, and I notice it does say Darklord cards, so not monsters, so you've got plenty of traps to get rid of, and the traps are recyclable via these own effects. Again, you pay 1,000, target a spell or trap card, Darklord spell or trap card in the graveyard, apply the effect and then shuffle it into the deck. You can only use, again, only special summon Nesten once per turn, and he is your level 7. Next Darklord card art is 1 Darklord Amudisc. Now, you discard this card on 1 Darklord card, target a Darklord card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. This is probably the most expendable card in the deck. Sorry about that. Most expendable card in the deck, because it really depends on how you want to play it. This is just another easier one to come out. You can easily bump up Nesten if you want to. You can bump up your Christia, you can bump up the Teratop engine that I'm playing in this, the Zerato, even Morningstar. Now, I love the artwork. Speaking of Morningstar, we're going on to him now. I love the artwork, if the camera wants to focus. There we go. I love the artwork. I think the artwork is amazing, and this card is particularly amazing. Now, the only odd thing about Darklords is, in a format where you know, people are going first, Darklords really want to be going second. Or this build definitely does anyway. But Morningstar is an amazing card, which is why I've got the Teratop engine as well, because the Teratop engine helps you get into this guy a hell of a lot quicker. So if you're going second and you get the Teratop engine out, basically it can't be special summoned. But if this card is tribute summoned, you can special summon Darklord monsters from your hand and or deck up to the number of effect monsters your opponent controls. While you control another Darklord monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Once per turn, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and equal to the number of Darklord monsters on the field. Hang on, sorry, I might have misread that. You can send this card You can send cards from the top of the deck, there we go, to the graveyard equal to the number of Darklord monsters on the field. And if you do, gain 500 life points for each Darklord card sent to the graveyard by this effect. So it's a 3k both ways. He's a Dante Mill kind of effect. And then the ability that if your opponent pendulum summons out 5 monsters, if you can then get Morningstar on the board, you're getting a full board of Darklord monsters. It's just crazy, which is why, obviously, Exacil and Nesting can only be special summoned once per turn, so can Amudisk, which is why, obviously, we have a more of a range in Darklord monsters. Next up is Zerato. Now, obviously, this card is really good as well because you special summon him out. If you have 4 or more Dark monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 Dark monster. You can send 1 Dark monster from your hand to the graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this effect was activated, destroy this card. During that turn, destroy this card. So he's your Regeki, he's your board wipe, monster board wipe for your opponent. And obviously, if you bring him out with Morningstar, or if you bring him back with Superbia, he's a rank 8 as well. So you can use this effect, blow up the field, attack, and then overlay him into a rank 8. Next up is the one Archlord Christia. Now the ability to stop people special summoning once you've built up your board, and the fact that he's a 2800 beta is really, really good. All of your Darklord monsters are fairy types, so even if you're not bringing him back with Superbia, you can bring Christia out with its own effect of having 4 fairies. He's also a trading target. He's not he can get a little bit bricky, but it's just the fact that if you do get forced to go first, if you open up with a Christia, you're okay. He's another rank 8 target, trading target, like I said before. And obviously, if you do go second and you haven't got the ability to OTK, you can then clear their board and clear the board with Zerato, and then lock them out with Christia. Next up is the smaller Speedroid Teratop engine. So 2 Teratops and 1 Tockenborg. I did try it at 3 and 1, and what I found was the Teratop was becoming more dead. I know it was to see it as early as possible, but those games that I did get dragged out on, you want to open up the Teratop, but then if you don't open up the Teratop, it can be quite damaging. But this kind of seems to work okay for me. There is some space to bump it up if I want to, but if I'm going to be bumping it up, my next bump up for this engine would be bringing in another Teratop and another Tarkenborg, because after I've used it once, I don't want it to be dead again. And like I said, you use this to either get out your Morningstar, get out any of your Darklords from hand, or you go into the rank 3 cards. When I get there, I'll show you what we've got. Next up is Double Maxi. Again, you could probably side these out if you want. It's really down to personal preference. Again, I'm probably on the edge of siding it out for maybe another Christia or maybe the Teratop engine, because yes, the format is special summoning, and I mean, like, Metaphors do it quite well, and you get quite a lot of draws off. But you know, I've said this before, I hate top decking this card. I really do. It very rarely saves me games. Next up, we play Triple Gamma Seal. Because in this format, if you can main any kaijus, you're already partly there to win in. The ability that you've got, this is a trade-in target, and you can also use it as a nice rank 8 buffer, is also great. So I mean, you can trade-in target this, if you pop it onto your opponent's side of the field, get into another one, special summon that out on the field, and then if you bring back Superbia, straight away you've got 2 rank 8s, you go straight 2 level 8 straight into a rank 8, and then you can go from there. So either he's fodder for your trade-ins, or it's just great to be able to main a kaiju in a deck at this moment in time. So that's it for the monster lineup. Next up is triple trading. Now with trading at the moment, you've got 7 targets, I believe. So 3 Superbia, 1 Christia, and 3 Gamma Seal. Now obviously bumping up the Christia will help give you an extra trading target, and then it means you're not so disappointed, or you're not worried when you get rid of your Christia. Next up, I only play Double Allure because I really don't like the effect of banishing. Now, the build that I've got doesn't give you the ability to bring back from the banish zone. So, I mean, if you're playing Escape from the Dark Dimension, Different Dimension, or Dark Dimension, whichever one it is, I can't remember off the top of my head, I do play 2 Call of the Haunted instead of that card. If you wanted to put 1 and 1, by all means you could do, and then bump up the Allure to give you that bit more draw targets. It's really down to personal preference. Now, before we get into the Darklord cards, I'll go for the other one. So I'll play 1 NST and then 1 Regeki. Now, you can easily side out the Regeki for a Twin Twister or anything else, to be totally honest with you, because Zerato is your Regeki. But, you know, Regeki's at 1 for a reason. It is a game changer. So, you know, some people are siding out. I think the ability if you've got your back up against the wall, to draw into a Regeki, whether it be baiting out Infinity or Hope Harbinger, just anything, or clearing their board to go again and be able to unlock your board to OTK, it's worth maining. Next up, we play 2 Banishment of the Darklords. So basically you add 1 Darklord card from your deck to your hand, except Banishment, and you can only activate 1 Banishment of Darklords per turn. So that effect means obviously you can't activate 2 Banishments in the same turn, but because with the Darklord effects you're only activating their effects, you can activate this, add a Darklord Contact if you want to, or you can add in, if you've got a Superbia in hand or an Exil in hand, you get the other one, so you get the more draws and they've dumped in the grave, however you see it fit. Then if you get a Darklord monster on field, you can bounce this back to deck and get its effect off again, which then unlocks double contact as well. So you can then activate double contact. The only thing that holds back double contact is the fact that Darklord monsters can only be special summoned once per turn, or the new support can. But contact is really good. It's like their own monster reborn, but in defense position. And you're mainly using contact for Superbia, to then Superbia then brings back any other Darklord or Fairy Tale monsters. You can even bring back the Christia. So you've already got a 29 beta, a 24 defender, and then you get Christia on field as well. So you can't your opponent can't special summon. That's at the bare minimum. So yeah. You can run them at 3 if you want, just to see them early enough. Now, I did trial it at 3, and sometimes it gets a little bit too cloggy because of the ability that you can recycle them. However, again, it's down to personal preference. If you can find the space for it, then yes, you can put them in. I did try a build with Pot of Desires, because you do run quite a few things at 3. It's just the only thing you miss out of with Pot of Desires is you're banishing your one-off beat sticks cards like your Zeratos and your Morning Stars. Now onto the traps. Now, I've seen a lot of people playing this the other way around, but I play 2 Darklord enchantments and 1 Darklord Rebellion. Now, the artwork on Rebellion again is amazing, and so it's the exact same on enchantment again. Artwork, very few that have better artwork than this. Now, the reason I've gone 2 enchantment instead of 2 Rebellion is basically you send a Darklord monster from your hand or field, hand or face up on your side of the field to the graveyard, destroy 1 card on the field. So yeah, the reason that I play, I don't play 2 Rebellion and I play 2 enchantment instead, is enchantment, you send 1 Darklord monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field to the graveyard, take control, so it doesn't target, of one of your opponent's monsters, take control of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls until the end phase. You can only activate 1 Darklord enchantment once per turn. So, this is where the loophole comes in with the Darklord effects. So the Darklord effects, because you're not activating the card, you're only activating their effect, you don't have to pay the cost. So you don't have to, when this is engraved and you're bouncing it back through a Darklord effect, you don't have to send the Darklord cards from hand or face up. You just get their effect off, which is obviously to pop 1 card or to take control of 1 card. Now, I like the ability of taking control because there's so many cards that can't be targeted. There's so many big beat sticks like Chaos Max that can't be targeted. But to being able to take control of them, whether it's during their battle phase to protect yourself or whether it's during your battle phase just to clear their board out and go for game. Now, obviously, Rebellion is nice because, again, it doesn't target, but it still destroys, and some cards can't be destroyed by card effects, which is why I've put the ratio the other way around. Next up, 2-dimensional barrier, because this card is just too good at this moment in time in this format. Now, it hurts metal foes in the sense if you call pendulums or fusion, depending on how far advanced they are, which is kind of the main deck out at the moment. Obviously, you can call XYZs against heroes to stop out the toads and that kind of build. So it's probably a main card that you really, if you can, I know they're expensive, but if you can get them, you're going to be maining them. Next up, you play 1 Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. Now, again, you can easily bump the strike up if you want to. I just haven't got enough space in this build that I prefer. And then I play the 1 Quaker Mirror Force and the 2 Call of the Hornets. Now, the reason I've got the 2 Call of the Hornets is, again, it can be a little bit cloggy. So you could easily put a 1 return from Dark Dimension in here and then 1 Call of the Haunted. It's just to get that extra special summon. So, I mean, if you've just got 1 Superbia in graveyard, you could activate your Call of the Haunted and then be able to bring back your other Darklord monsters. So it's just another ability if you haven't got contact in your hand that you can go for stuff like that. And then, because they can only be special summoned once per turn, you can activate Call of the Haunted during your opponent's turn. So if your opponent MST'd Call of the Haunted, you chain Call of the Haunted, bring back Superbia. Superbia will then get the bring back anyway. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. It's a 41 card deck. Now onto the extra deck. Now you very rarely, in this build, you very rarely need to go into the extra deck because you've got the 3k beta there, you've got the abilities to pop cards, take control of cards. So the extra deck is merely more, maybe more of a safety net than anything at this moment in time. But we play one Dreadnought Rail Cannon. Now this is your target for your Zexil monster. So if you ever get two of them on the board, you can always go into Dreadnought, which is an amazing beat stick and defender 4k card. Next up you play loads of ranked 8, so you've got your Hope Harbinger, you've got your Cypher Dragon, Felgrand, Galaxy Fall Armor, Photon, and obviously number 62, Galaxy Dragon. You then play Alzi, because the ability, you just call what you don't want and then you can put your opponent into a loop of constantly drawing the top card. If they draw into a jank card that they don't want, they don't need, that's not helping them, you just circle them back and you bide yourself some time. One Heretic Sun, because if you do have Darklords in your hand, it's not end of the world getting them to the grave, and the ability that you can just discard as many or pop as many on the field to pop as many as your opponent controls, again, it's a great card to have. Your rank 7, only play the one Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. Now obviously you could, if you wanted to, you could play Big Ice, so it's really down to your personal preference. I just prefer Red Ice to burn out for game, but again, Big Eye is a great one, so you could do either or in there. And then you play a good handful of rank 3s. Now I know there's only one way of making rank 3s, which is the Terratop engine. So again, you could bump that up if you want to be making these more often. But it depends on like what approach you want to take and at what point you draw into those Terratops. So you got your Breaksword, just in case you're in a bit of trouble. Breaksword can help pop you out of it. You've got your Giga Brilliant, just for the extra boost to help you keep going if you need to. Your Nightmare Shot to attack directly if your opponent's walled up. Your Totem Bird if you want to start off more defensively and you know your opponent's going to be relying on spells like Dark Magicians or anything like that. The one Grand Pulse, because if you're going second and your opponent's got a big back row, Grand Pulse is a nice big 2800 defender. Now one card that some people are playing, some people aren't playing, is Dante. Now throughout testing I kind of saw myself going into Dante more, like when I didn't have Dante on my extra deck, I wanted to go into him a hell of a lot more. So the ability of Dante to begin to Dante without your normal summon, if you do have a bit of a bricky hand, you then detach, mill the top 3 cards, and then you're then, again, he's a bit of a gamble because you're either going to put more fairies in your graveyard so you can't get Krishna out your hand, or you're going to be able to not get the Zerato out. But again, it just provides you with that ability to fill up your grave a little bit with the spells or traps or however you need to then maybe activate something like Contact. So I mean, the greatest mill, if you've got one card, if you've got a Superbia and Grave but you haven't got anything else, if you mill out another Darklord monster, you then activate Contact, bring back Superbia, bring back that the Darklord monster, activate the Darklord monster's effect, bounce back the Contact effect, and then go again, and you've probably turned your board in with a Dante, a Superbia in defense, another Darklord in defense, and then a Darklord in attack. So yeah, it's a really fun deck. It's a shame that it's not like cheapish. I mean, I know the main card is Exil is about, I think it's like €15. I think it's about £10 sometimes. Depending on where you get it from and who you get it from. So this is the main card, which is why obviously I need to pick up 2 more of it. The rest of the cards aren't hugely expensive as the Darklord cards. You can pretty much get those easier in a box. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Also check out our last day to win some Duelist Destiny Soldier packs, because that ends Thursday, so I'll be announcing the winners tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available. We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.